Good morning. I'm going to take you to work with me today, but I wanted to ask you, what part of your daily life do you take for granted? That came up as my prompt today. And at first I was like, yeah, whatever. But then I realized I was kind of taking things for granted because let's get out here and see if you can you hear this? I'm hoping that my microphone would have picked this up, but just the sound, the simple sound of birds, you know? And it's interesting because my husband and I this fall went on a dream trip. We went to Africa on safari, and that was a dream vacation. And at some point, we noticed that as we were walking to breakfast in the morning and midday, there was just this loud chatter of birds, and it was so significant. I'll see if I can find this footage and I'll post it as a short, where it was just like a loud clatter of birds. And then when I came out this morning, you hear that woo-hoo? I was just struck by, isn't it funny that sometimes we wait till we go on vacation to appreciate or notice things, and maybe it's because we're so busy with, like, I'm just thinking I got to get to work, I got to do this and this, that you just like storm past the everyday things. Why is my car opening? Why we storm past the everyday things that we can just delight and find joy in. So what is it that's going on in your life that you take for granted? And I almost didn't, well, I haven't had a chance to write this down, but I thought I'd just do a video log about it because I'm curious to know what things you guys take in your daily life that you take for granted, because sometimes in sharing it, we'll find out from each other and go, oh yeah, some things are obvious, like who doesn't appreciate deep fried food, chocolate, or potato chips, except for Lala, the high vibe coach, who will just be shocked about it. But I did find a vegan, gluten-free, lovely chocolate cake at the bakery. So then I feel less guilty about my indulgence. But anyways, I'm going to take you guys to work today because it kind of shows, by filming your daily life, sometimes it helps because then you find gratitude in the little things. So I really encourage you to, get out there, show us your world, whether on a short or on a horizontal video. Oh, quick tip. If you're going to shoot a short video that is over 1 minute, don't film it vertical. Because YouTube will automatically load up 1 to 3 minute verticals as shorts, and then it doesn't contribute to your watch hours. So go horizontal, but if it's less than a minute, go vertical, and then you'll get some virality, and hopefully you can do both. Okay, so anyways, the thing about appreciation in your daily life is it got me thinking about, so I can't wait to, again, hear what you're going to say, is, sometimes you wake up, it's one day, and then one day, and one day, and one day. And for me, what I realized is, wow, what's become my day today, I have so much to be grateful for. So here's what I ended up doing is I realized, because I don't really mark this as an anniversary, but I probably should, is the year that I got divorced and had to restart my life here in Washington, D.C. So from Washington, D.C. back to my hometown in Vancouver, Canada. So here's a quick backstory is I was born in Vancouver in the 60s, then fell in love with someone in my 30s, left my phone company job, went to Washington, D.C., had this adventurous life, and then my husband caught me by surprise, as in, not that he had an affair or anything, but he just wasn't happy with the way life was going with me and announced he wanted to get divorced. And we weren't a contentious couple that fought a lot, but I had been spending time apart to come back to spend time with my folks in the summer. But I'll give you guys a longer story about that if you're interested in when you're caught by surprise by divorce, or if you've gone through that or anything like that. But anyways, it's traumatic to go through divorce. It's even more traumatic to go through it as an Asian person because culturally we don't get divorced. But it ended up being the best thing that has ever happened to me, because now So I just looked at like the dates on my Google Photos. So do that just for fun. Scroll back 10 years and then do up a video, or just mark down in the comments what it is that you were doing 10 years ago, because you don't notice it day to day, but then 10 years marches by really fast, and you recognize sort of two things. One, it marches by fast, but then I go, whoa, my mom still looked pretty young 10 years ago, and I probably had less gray hair. But anyways, I realized that I think I got divorced or had resettled back in Vancouver about 10 years ago. And life is really good. Like Lewis, who's here locally, checks in on me time to time on my comments. Hi, Lewis. And he said, you look really good on my last live. And I thought that was really significant. I don't know Lewis well. Relatively new acquaintance here on the YouTube land, but I thought that was really a kind thing for him to say. So thank you. I am feeling good. And one of the things that I'm appreciative of is that I'm happy that I was resilient enough to come through divorce. And, you know, now 10 years later, I can stand here strong. But at the time, I thought I was going to crumble. And I had to do all sorts of paperwork. I hate doing taxes. I mean, who loves it? I guess if you're an accountant. But I had to like do the divorce filing, have the uncomfortable conversations with my husband about how we're going to divide our property. We had an amicable divorce. We did not involve lawyers, and we had to figure it out how we were going to split our finances. And I'm someone that doesn't like to argue, but I also knew that I had to financially stick up for myself because it happened to me and I hadn't been pre-saving for this. So it had to be fair because I'm the one that had to resettle. So it's not like I never did speak up on my marriage, but at this time in my life, 50, I still had to make sure that I stood up for myself. So that was significant. So anyways, what I'm appreciative of in life is that I've been able to, at the time, I was mad. I said to him, I'm a woman in my 50s. You've sucked out the best years of my life. How am I ever going to find someone again? And so what I'm most appreciative of is myself for being resilient enough to stand up for myself and be able to say, I'm going to get through this. And now 10 years later, I've rebuilt a life. I've met someone new, and I'm not officially married, but I'm married on paper, and it feels like I'm married anyways. And he's a lovely man, and I didn't know this at the time, but I had thought I'd married my soulmate, my love of my life. And I think he thought so too. But here's the difference, and this is remarkable if you have to rebuild, is he was into me as long as I was into all his things. But the second that I was also like building my life, it didn't go both ways. And I didn't know that at the time. He was happy if I was supporting him, and he was supportive, or at least tolerated all the things I was interested in. But I find that with my new relationship, I've been more careful and guarded about making sure I stand up for what's important for me. And then in turn, I've been rewarded with a relationship where the gentleman I'm with is just lovely. He is supportive. We don't do all the same things. We don't share all the interests, but he is very supportive of my activities. And he is also willing. He's been through divorce. So he's been willing to say, here's what I want of a relationship. So I wish that all for you. The other quick things that I've appreciative of is that my coworkers are amazing. I have a group of women that I'm hard on. I'm a perfectionist. And so this is my dream job, is I left the corporate world to work in gardening. And so I love it. But it comes naturally to me. I've been doing it for almost 25 years. And so I can walk in, handle a ton of deliveries going all at once, and not get wigged out. But I realize that comes naturally to me, naturally, as in I've been doing it for so long. So that's my challenge as the other thing that I'm very appreciative of is the owner and manager of my store. So this is another thing about sticking up for yourself, is that when I applied for the job, is in the past, I would do everything I could to make sure I'm ready for the interview. But in this circumstance, is I asked my now boss out for coffee, and I think I must have peppered him with questions for an hour and a half to 2 hours. I had a list of questions so that I could make sure that I was going to put myself in a situation for the long term. Work to figure out, how do I back off on my hours so I can start to travel more around the world. And so you'll start to see that on my channel. The other thing too is I'm a line dancer. That's my passion. Well, gardening is my passion. So I'll be sharing a lot more about this. Tell me in chat anything you're curious about, and I'd be happy to share it with. So, all right. Oh, my husband's calling me right now, so we'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.